Okay, students, we're going to do box and whisker. You're supposed to have done this in middle school. We might add on a piece or two that you might not have done. You've probably done minimum, maximum, quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3. Um, you might not have done outliers, and you might not have done interquartile range. IQR is interquartile range, which is Q3 minus Q1. Okay, so you just take your Q3 answer, subtract Q1 answer. That's called the interquartile range. You'll be asked this information, and if there's any outliers on the DCAS as well. So you need to know how to do this. All right, so the first thing you're gonna do, I'm just gonna do one problem from this page. There's only 3, so I'll do one from here and one from one of these down here probably. Okay, it's the same steps. All right, so the first thing you want to do is order them from smallest to greatest. So 8, 9, you can cross out as you're going. Next one up is 11. Next one up is 14. Next one up is 17. Next one up is 23. Next one up is 29. Next one up is 30. Next one up is 32 when we have 2 of those. And last one is 39. So when you're done, you want to count up the ones you have written down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I want to make sure I have 11 over here. So I've counted for every number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that way I haven't skipped any. Okay. That's where it also helps to cross them out as you go so that you can see as well. All right. So minimum, maximum, that's easy. Minimum is 8. Maximum is 39. Okay. Now, when there's an odd number, as there are 11 here, there's an exact middle number. Okay. So it's number 6. If I added 1 to 11 is 12. Divided by 2 is 6. So the sixth one up. Change the color here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the middle one. That's called the median, which is quartile 2, 23. Okay, Q2 equals the median. Okay, that's the middle number when arranged from smallest to greatest. Okay, now to get Q1, you go ahead and you see how many you have left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 below 23 or the Q2. So again, this is an odd number. I have a middle one, the third one, 11. So Q1 is 11. Then I do the exact same thing in the upper quartile. There's 5 up here above the 50%, the median. There's 5, so I do the middle one there. That's the third one. Okay, and so that's Q3 is 32. Okay, so what that means is that there's 25% in each one. Okay, 25% here, 25% here, 25% here, and 25% there, for a total of 100%. Okay, so if it was to ask you what percent of the numbers are above 11, you'd have 75%. If you ask you what percent of the numbers are below 32, you'd also have 75%. If it asks what percent of the numbers are above 32, or 32 or higher, it'd be 25%. Okay, it's not asking that in this case, but you will get to that. All right, interquartile range, as I said, is Q3 minus Q1. So that's just 32, Q3 minus Q1, 11, which then gives you 21 is the interquartile range. Okay, now to find the outliers. So this one you have to do last. You have to get the interquartile range first. take the interquartile range, so outlier 1.5 times IQR. So 1.5 times 21 in this case. And so you have 21 plus 10.5 is 31.5. Okay. That means, so now if I go 31.5 and I take that number and add it to Q3 plus 31.5, any number beyond that, so Q3 is 32 plus 31.5, which would equal 63.5. So any number that is at 63.5 or higher is an outlier. And of course, we don't have anything close to that because 39 is the highest. And if I do Q1 minus that 31.5, Q1 is 11 minus 31.5. Okay, that's negative 20.5. Okay, and of course, we have no negative numbers at all. So we don't have any outliers in this case. We may not have any on this page, but I'm having you practice because at some point you will have an outlier. I added these to this worksheet here, so they probably didn't set you up for any outliers. Okay, but this is how you calculate. You first got to do 1.5 times the interquartile range, get that number, and you add it to the Q3, and you subtract it from the Q1. And any numbers that are above, greater than or equal to that number, or less than or equal to the smaller number, those are called outliers. Okay, so in this case, none. And like I said, there probably won't be any on this page because it wasn't set up for that. Okay, so that's that one. Now let's do one from this side. And I also put that in here for adding in the outliers here as well. And there may not be any. So let's go ahead and do the last one here. So again, the very first thing. Oh, like I said, going back to now drawing it. So we have 11. Okay, we have the highest 39 right there. Okay, we have Q1. I mean the lowest. Sorry, Q1 is at 11. The lowest is 8. The median is 23. Q3 is 32, and the highest is 39. So what I do is I put a little box on these Q1, Q2, and Q3. And then I just put a segment from there. Those are like the whiskers. So you have the box and the whiskers on the outside right there. Okay, so that's called box and whisker. That's how you draw that. Okay, you're just using those numbers, the low, the high, and the Q1, Q2, and Q3. Okay. And so on the DCAS, they could also already give you the box and whisker itself, and they expect you to interpret and use it. So remember, I have 25% here. I have 25% of the numbers here. I have 25% of the numbers here, and I have 25% of the numbers here for a total of 100%. Okay. Now you don't have to put that in there. I just want you to know that. Okay. And that would have been at 11 right there. Okay. Let's go to this bottom one here. So again, I have to arrange it in order from smallest to greatest. Now notice on this one, it already is in that order for us. We just now have to arrange them horizontally. So 2.9. Was this one also given to us? Yes, this one's also given to us in nice numerical order for us. 2.9, 4, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.125, 5.5, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6.15, 6.25, 6.5, and 3 sevens. Okay, now I count up again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And I have 4, 8, 12, 16, 17. So I've got them all listed. Okay, so I have a total of 17. That's an odd number again. If I want to know what that is, add that 1 to 17 is 18. Divided by 2 is 9. So the ninth one is the middle one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right there. So that means I should have the exact same amount on each side of that 6. I should have 8 on each side. Okay? So this is Q2. That's the median. Right? Q2 is called the median. And I have how many below that? 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, there's not an exact middle number. 8, right? So I take the middle of the two middle numbers, the average of the two middle numbers. So that's numbers 4 and 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so I take the midpoint between 4.5 and 5, which then is 4.75. Now you could go 5 plus 4.5 and then get that answer and divide by 2, and that's going to give you the 4.75. Okay, I did the same thing up here because I have 8 up here, so I have to take the two middle ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and so then the middle, right between those two, and the middle between that would be 6.375. Again, you can add 6.5 plus 6.25, it equals, and then divide by 2. And I'll give you that one, and there's Q3. Okay. So now, so this is the one, it's only when there's an even number of them that I have to take the two middle ones, add them together and divide by 2, or take the midpoint of those two, same thing. Okay, the average of those two. Notice now when I have this Q1, which is right here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 below it and 4 above it. Same thing here with this Q3, I have 4 below it between that and the Q2 and 4 above it. Okay, remember we're splitting into 25%. Okay, so now it asked me to do, go back up, mode. Okay, so we're adding a new one in here, mode. And mean that we're adding in here. Lower quartile, that's Q1. Upper quartile, that's Q3. Interquartile range, that's the IQR that we did from last. Any outliers. So mode, remember that? Another word for that is the most. Which one occurs the most? The median, that's your Q2. So we did this on the front side. The mean, though, is I have to add up all those numbers and divide by the total number of numbers. Another word for mean is average. So that's a calculator problem. The average. Okay, so that's what it wants for all of these. Well, for the 4 problems, I'm doing obviously 1, so you got 3 to go on there. Okay, so we've identified the Q1, the Q2, the Q3, and we'll draw a box and whisker as well. The mode, which one occurs the most? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sixes. That's the one that occurs the most. So the mode here is 6. Okay. My load 2.9. Draw it to my box. Q1 is 4. Hold on. Let's draw a little box part here. 4.75. Okay. So that's, you can write Q1 above that. Q2 is at 6. Q3 is at 6.375. and the highest is 7. Okay, and then we just go ahead and draw our box connecting Q1 to Q2 and Q3. Okay, so we've done and then we've done Q1, Q2, Q3. We've done the mode. We have now the IQR, right? It asks IQR, yes. And that's Q3 minus Q1. We've done the most now. Then we have to do the mean last. Okay, so IQR. And you can write it out so you work on memorizing what it is. Q3 minus Q1. And then write out those numbers, 6.375 minus Q1, 4.75. Okay, you could just put this in a calculator. I'm just going to do it here. So there's the IQR. Okay, and now I'm not going to go ahead and calculate the mode out, I mean the mean out here, but you add up all these numbers, add up all the numbers and divide by 17 because there was 17. And then that's the mean. I'll just write down what you do. Add all 17 numbers and then divide by 17. Remember, another word for mean is average. Okay, so you'll actually do all that. Put in a calculator, add them up, divide by 17, and then put that answer right here. Okay, so that's what you're gonna do for the problems on this page. Oh, outlier. We're gonna do outlier as well. Okay, outlier. Remember, that's I do Q3 minus Q1, which is the interquartile range right here. So outlier is connected to that. So outliers could be more than one, is 1.5 times the IQR, which is 2.125. Okay, put that in the calculator. There's your calculator you'll be using on the DCAS. Okay, is 1.5 times 2.125. 2.125 equals 3 point. Well, that's 3.1875. Okay, so remember, now I'm going to add that number to Q3 and subtract it from Q1. So Q3 outliers equals Q3 plus, I'm just writing out what you'd actually be doing, 1.5 times the IQR, which we just calculated. So the Q3 was 6.375 plus that answer we just had, 3.1875. Anything greater than or equal to that. Okay. So we have that plus, what was it again? 6.375. 6.375. 9.5625. 5625? Yes, it was. Okay. And did we have any numbers higher than that? No, we didn't. Highest number was 7. So none that way. And the other one is less than or equal to Q1 minus that 1.5 times the IQR. Okay, so Q1 was 4.75 minus that same answer right there, 3.1875. So 4.75 minus 3.1875 is 1.5625. 1.5625. Do we have any numbers below that? No. Our smallest number is 2.9. So no outliers. Like I said, that didn't surprise me. I just added that in there because you do need to know outliers for the DCAS. And so this is a more basic sheet. And so they didn't go ahead and put any outliers in there. But at some point, I'll have one where there is an outlier for you. But you need to get this formula memorized. Okay, they don't give it to you on how you calculate the outliers. All right, that'll do it. 20 minutes.